Marco.
It really be like that sometimes, folks. We're back, and we're trying to make it stack. That's the topic that we're going to be discussing today. People YOLOing everything, it seems, on on gambling, which you love to see. But first, of course, thumbs up the ting. Click like on the ting. Sometimes YouTube doesn't give out the notifications. As a matter of fact, YouTube be unsubscribing people from channels. I get messages or comments like this all the time that's like, YouTube unsubscribed me from your channel. You love to see that. So, you know, back in the day they had, what was that thing called? Google Plus. Look, I'm not going to tell you to go hit the bell on the channel so that you get notified every time. You know, if you want to join the Discord to get notified, you can. I usually remember to post in the Discord when I'm live. But I don't know what to tell you. If you want the notifications, turn on the bell, I guess. But don't not turn on the bell and then complain about not getting the notifications. It's my first stream as a 30-year-old. So that's good. We're here. You know, I had to post a thirst trap on him one time for on Instagram for just for the world, really. To commemorate my 30th birthday and say thank you to the goons and the whatever, even though, let's keep it 100, photo posts on Instagram are basically like, they just don't hit. They just don't hit. I'm sorry. The algorithm wants reels. The algorithm demands reels. And, you know, they want trial reels. So, unfortunately, you know, we all know that the algorithm has become mostly, the vast majority of the content you see is not from people you follow. It's just, you know, usually whatchamacallit, algorithmically decided for you on your behalf. Welcome to the server, Hannah. Welcome to the Discord. I got the notification that you joined. Do I have a fucking, is that a flake of skin or a booger in my nose? What is that? What the helly? Fucking, my skin is fucking dry, dude. Can y'all see this? Let me go watch this back right quick. I gotta go. Hold on. I'm over here talking about thirst trapping on Instagram. I got a fucking skin peeling off of my face. The 2019 me would have been so insecure about this and would have been like, "Oh, delete the video." Now I'm just curious. Go to this moment of the video and let me watch. Let me see this. What the fuck was that? No, go here. Go to the live portion. I'm going to see if it loads. Okay. What the fuck was that? Let's see if we can find it together here. I'm opening it. Not loading. Fuck yes. Hell yeah. Oh, the tabs are going. Oh, too many tabs. Fuck it. It's not loading. I'll watch it back later. Yay, lagging. Oh, yeah. Here. Hold on. There it is. There it goes. Watch. The fuck was that? Bumbaclot. Vacation. Bumbaclot moment right there on the live stream. Also, full. Booger in my nose? What is that? Look at that. What the helly? Jeez Louise. You turn 30, everything just fucking goes to shit, huh? Yeah, first stream of my 30s, which is wild and crazy to say. Oh yeah, the Instagram post I made. Hello? Oh, I'm lagging. Wait for it. Wait for it to stabilize now that we're fucked. You know what it is? I've actually diagnosed this. The reason that the YouTube lags, I notice it from one thing specifically. It's from not too many tabs. It's from one tab. And that tab is my own YouTube live stream where the chat is loading. And I feel like there's some correlation between The chat consistently updating. Holy. See something. Wait for it, y'all. See, I didn't even get that. I didn't even get the donation sound notification coming through because of the lag, but give it a second. It's something to do with the chat being open on my phone. Updating is putting too much pressure on.
Victor Ramsahak 1787 dropped the BAG 50 Australia.
It is what it is. I didn't want that for him, of course. So I just let it go. I was like, fuck it. You know, it's like there will be more videos. Thank you also to anyone wanting to follow in the footsteps of Victor. And Victor, for future reference, just in case, I appreciate the support a lot. Let me encourage you guys to use the Streamlabs link in the chat and not the YouTube super chat, because I've been saying this since 2019. YouTube takes 30%. So if you don't, I don't think you want to pay YouTube the price of a Netflix subscription just as for being the middleman. You know, when you're trying to support creators, it's always better to do it directly. So y'all can hit my PayPal. You can hit the Streamlabs. You can, if you're in Canada and you want to send me an e-transfer, DM me and I will give you the information to send me an e-transfer directly. But I appreciate you. Refresh the stream if you're getting lag. It's stabilized now. Refresh the stream if you're getting any lag. Here, let me put that in the chat. Refresh. Okay. Make sure it looks good. Yeah, there was lag for a hot second there. Wagwan Lucy Tunes, thank you. I appreciate the birthday love, and I saw the donation that you and Voldemorty sent, so thank you so much. I really appreciate that. Yeah, refresh the stream if you're getting any lag. Also, this is just proof. This is just proof that Instagram doesn't push photo posts anymore, and they only push reels. Because I posted this beautiful collage of 3 pictures, which I thought looked super. I mean, I had the fresh crispy fade. I had the fresh crispy fade, and I was like, you know what? Let me take advantage of this fresh crispy fade. And I posted these. How is it possible that I have almost 22,000 followers on Instagram and not even 200 people have liked this post? It's simply because people aren't seeing it. I just know for a fact. I was getting more likes when I had, you know, I could get more likes on that when I had 5,000 followers. Give me one second. Oh, by the way, I'm going to be peeing at least twice this stream because I just came from the gym doing leg day before this and drank a bunch of liquid. Give me a second. Bumbleclot. Bumbleclot, we're back. Never mind the liquid I drank at the gym. We've got our Coke Zero in the cup. If you want to get the mug, alwaysmarcomerch.com. Use the code BDAY or the code GOONS for a discount at checkout. The BDAY code is good until this Sunday. Had to do a little something to give back. I've got my water and I've got this Bumbleclot protein shake. So you already know Wagwan with the liquids. We stay hydrated. So go. I don't know. What do you want me to say? Thumbs up the ting and go thumbs up the post on Instagram. Does it even matter? Does it even matter at this point? I just want to fuck it. I just thought I'd post something. Also, before we get into the gambling shit, Calgarian goons, Calgoons. I am planning a visit to Calgary next week for a very secret interview with someone you may be surprised to see me collab with. Very random, star-crossed, fated collaboration with a person who I don't even want to say anything just in case it doesn't happen. But Calgary, if you are in Calgary or you know anybody in Calgary who is in hospitality of any kind, and they can hook me up with a place to record this conversation, whether it's like a restaurant, private room, a cigar lounge, a hotel conference room, or I don't know, nice hotel room that we can set up in a certain way. I would really appreciate that. Let me know. I know it's kind of short notice. I'm giving it approximately 1 week that I'm planning to be there. So if anybody is in Calgary and has the hookup for something of this nature, please do let me know, because you are gonna want to see this interview that I do. Refresh if you had lag. Whenever there's lag, it just kills a bunch of people log off, and we love to see that. And okay, that's the Calgary thing done. We did that. I'm also still working on, I talked about this recently on a stream, and I asked if people would be interested in me doing like a free workshop on a Zoom or something, maybe in a Discord in the server, doing like a stage in Discord, and doing like a free workshop about how to make content if you're just starting out, or if you're already a successful short form creator, how to get started making long form content, whether that's live streams, long form videos, and how to, of course, make money doing it, because that's really, the only thing I know at this point. So I am still working on that. Please do let me know in the comments if you are interested in that, so I can kind of gauge how many people would show up. I got to do more. I got to talk about it more. I'll probably post an Instagram story about it at some point here too. And yeah. Okay. Thumbs up the ting.
Thumbs up.
Let's get into it. So, Rob, the DraftKings.
Rob V 2026 donated $9 Canadian and 99
The DraftKings over under on $50 billion. So let me actually think about this. Let me actually think about what the question means and how to answer it. So thank you. First of all, thank you. Thank you, Rob. Appreciate you. $9.99. The DraftKings over under on $50 billion is 1.5. I don't even know what that means. I literally don't even know what that means. Okay, but I'm gonna fuck with you. I'm fucking with you. Also, let me big up all the members, all the mods in the chat. Creating America, Starla Marie, Rob's neighbor, Legend Gaming says, wrap it up, Unc, Lucy Tunes. You love to see it. Am I missing anyone? I'm interested in learning how to talk like PBD. Okay. Bob is interested. Bill Gates probably spiked my water, so true. Yeah, okay, so I'm noticing rain bet everywhere. It's like rain bet, rain bet, rain bet. People are incorporating. So I'm noticing ads for rain bet everywhere. People are incorporating it into content that makes it seem like it's normal or like it's natural. What's the word I'm looking for? People are incorporating subtle brain rot. Sorry, brain rot. I meant rain bet. It's funny how it sounds similar and it's basically synonymous. I'm noticing people talk about rain bet in a way that like makes it seem like it's not a paid ad, but it is. You know, they're making it seem like it's an organic part of the content, or like Kalshi, for example. I saw one video today that was like, this person's going to be in the new Spider-Man movie. Here's how I know. Because on Kalshi, there's a 90% chance, and it's just speculative. It's just people gambling money on what character is going to appear in the new Spider-Man movie. That's not news. That's not even gossip. That's just, it's just literally brain rot crap. And it seems to me so prevalent. I mean, I'll tell you, I'm not a big YouTuber. I have 122,000 subscribers as of this recording. I've gotten so many requests to promote some sort of gambling nonsense. And I've probably, I don't know how much money at this point I've turned down, but I'm just not interested in doing that. You know, I used to work at a casino, and I'll tell you why I didn't have a problem with working at a casino when I was 20 years old. At least where I am in Canada, you have to be at least 18 to even enter a casino. So typically, we're not dealing with children or teenagers who might be just watching YouTube and thinking, oh, I'm going to go on the internet and sign up for a website and use a credit card and gamble money. There's that mitigating factor to begin with, that only adults are allowed in there. Second of all, you know when you go to the casino that you are gambling. I know they've tried to incorporate this double speak. Like here in Alberta, we have the AGLC, the Alberta Gaming and Liquor Commission. They call it gaming instead of gambling. To me, gaming is you're playing a video game. That's gaming. Gambling is spending money. And if you're spending money to game, you're gambling, and you're not just gaming. So, anywho, you know when you go to the casino that you are gambling, you know that the odds are not in your favor. People generally have heard the saying, the house always wins, okay? But what I find with a lot of these ads that are like people gambling is like sometimes the videos that are like filmed on Meta glasses where it's like some prank or some public buffoonery will show like, oh, it'll be a video, for example, of a guy like going up to a girl being like, it's like a pickup video where he's like, hey, what's your name? Can I get your number? Hold on, let me do a quick hand of rain bet. And they like pan down to their phone. It's like it's like a product placement in the video. And sometimes they do lose money and they show that, which I appreciate. But it's just wild. It's just wild how many people are promoting it, because you know that it's going to be, you know that there is going to be kids watching it to some degree. You know, there's not the same level of filtering that would happen in a real life casino, like the example I gave a moment ago. I'm too bright. There we go. Am I still too bright? Am I still too overexposed and white? There we go. I think that's better. Fix the lighting on this. Okay, that's good. That's good. So, yeah, I do not like the gambling stuff, and there's been some really good videos done about it. Drew Gooden did a really good video. CoffeeZilla did a really good video a few months ago, and then there's another video that I haven't seen from a gentleman, Jordan Kang, that
Rob
I'm
B
gonna check out as well.
2026 donated 10 Canadian
Rob.
dollars. The Kalshi and all that other stuff will be a huge downfall on our society. Why in the world would people bet on some of this crazy stuff? It baffles me.
Yeah, I agree, and thank you again, Rob. Rob carrying the stream on his back today. It's also, what's the name of the other one? What's the other one called? Parley Market. That's another one too. I remember when Nick Shirley did his video about the Somali daycare fraud or whatever. He had another thing that was like, he was wearing a Parley Market shirt in one of the videos, and it was like, this is my problem. They talk about Kalshi and Parley Market and these predictive, speculative, essentially just gambling, in my opinion, charts as though it's like news when it's not news or investigation, you know? Like, I don't remember what the exact one Nick Shirley did, but it was something to the effect of like, here's the percentage of people that are saying, Tim Walz, this is going to happen to Tim Walz. Or like Patrick Bet David did one where he was posting, here's who people think the new Shah of Iran is going to be. And he's like, Kalshi is saying this. And it's like, that's not anything. That's not news. That's not a developing story. Elon, yeah. Thank you, Hamad Yusuf. That's not a development. That's not like nothing's happening here, you know? So there was another thing about the casinos too, is that I'm trying to think about the experience that I had when I was working at the casino. There was like some level of supervision, like you still had a responsibility, you still had a duty of care. Much like if you're a bartender, you have a duty of care to not, another thing about the casino that separates it from the dangers of this online gambling, aside from the age verification that you would go through walking into an actual physical casino, is the duty of care. Okay, maybe not. Maybe I should say it like this. Is the supervision element of there being staff there. So when I worked at a casino, I had to go through a training that addressed things like problem gambling and how to spot problem gambling. And, I had the authority in the job that I worked at the casino to actually ban people. And sometimes your responsibility was to ban people for their own good. You had a duty of care to cut people off, so to speak, much like a bartender would have a duty of care to stop serving someone if they observed that they were drunk. Because, I don't know if this is true, but I remember when I worked in a restaurant, I heard that if you served somebody who was visibly inebriated and then that person got behind the wheel of a car and killed someone, that you could be responsible or liable. You could be held responsible or liable for that. I don't know if that's true, but if that is true, then there's a similar implication, at least ethically, when it comes to gambling. And I'll tell you a quick story. And I'll tell you one quick story about a situation where I actually had to ban someone. And this was the only time I had to ban someone. One of the cocktail waitresses. Okay, so let me just. First of all, my role in the casino was something called a slot host. Okay, there was 5 hosts in the casino. 3 of them worked in the table games area. This was like the high limit table games area, mostly Chinese people who played Baccarat. And that was, for whatever reason, the largest contingent of wealthy high roller players in the high limit room were Chinese. This is at a casino in Edmonton. And I was one of 3 people who were slot hosts. Sorry, 2 people were in the table games. These 2 older guys, much more senior. One of them was Chinese, so he spoke Chinese. 2 of them were responsible for overseeing table games. 3 of us were responsible for overseeing all of the slot machines. And there was a high limit area for slots as well in this casino. And so the job was very simple. Your job was essentially to make the high roller players or the big payout winners feel comfortable and incentivize them to stay and keep playing, essentially. So what my job would be like, for example, when I came in the morning, would be to walk the floor of the casino, identify who was there that was playing, who I knew, memorize as much information about them as I could. So, for example, the high roller players are generally very habitual creatures. They come to the casino often. Some of them come almost every day, and it's just part of their routine. It was typically older, well-off, that's an understatement, older, very wealthy people that would come and just play for their own entertainment or whatever. So I would walk around the floor of the casino. I would see that, for example, John Smith is sitting at his usual machine. I know in my head that John Smith always asks for a pack of this specific cigarettes from the casino, from the casino gift shop. I know that in this casino you could smoke. So I know that this guy likes a very specific pack of cigarettes from the casino gift shop. That was something where I could fill out basically a piece of paper that was a voucher to get a free pack of cigarettes. So I would write the voucher or whatever, the value of it. I would give it to the gift shop. They would give me the cigarettes. I would give the cigarettes to the guy. So basically my job was I would go from the player say hello to them, see if that is what they want or that's what they need. Obviously, I have to get their confirmation before I go and do the transaction. Oh, hey, pack of this and this and this. Yes, typically I go to the gift shop, I write the voucher, I get the pack of cigarettes, I bring it back. That's typically what it is. A lot of times you're writing, you're just signing off on drinks, free drinks. So the cocktail waitresses will call my phone number. Hey, it's for John Smith. I know who John Smith is. If I don't know who it is, the cocktail waitress will give me the player membership number. And from that, I will look them up in the system. And then I will see if they qualify essentially based on their activity, their points, their sign-ins, etc. Typically, the answer is just yes. You're just comping everything that comes across the desk. So this applied to cigarettes, hotel room stays, meal vouchers, drinks. That's basically it. You're creating an environment where they feel comfortable and they can spend as much time as possible within the casino without having to go anywhere else. There was one time that a cocktail waitress called me and she said, there's a guy who was spouting obscenities at one of the waitresses and spitting on the machines. And so I said, okay, tell me where this person is. So they told me which area he was in. I went over. There was a gentleman there. I said, he was an Asian guy. And I said, excuse me, sir, how are you doing today? And he said something to the effect of, mind you, this is like almost a decade ago. He said, this is shit. Everything's shit. I was like, everything is shit? He's like, thank you, Ram Krishna. Legend. Thank you.
RAMKRISHNA donated 13
Thank you
Canadian
so
dollars
much.
and 72 cents.
Namaste. Thank you
Belated
so
happy
much.
birthday, bro.
Legend. Thank you so much. So he's like, everything is shit. This place is shit. You're shit. And I was like, I remember I just said, okay. And I walked away and I went and got this guy who was like the head of security. And I said, hey, I think we got to kick somebody out. So he said, okay. So he went and got like another couple security guards. We all walked over. It was like a mob of 4 or 5 of us. And the guy went, thankfully, without much of a hassle. But he was clearly upset about something. Afterwards, after they had got his information and banned him, after they got his information and escorted him out, they came back to me. The security manager came back to me and said, that guy wanted me to tell you that he said thank you. And I said, thank me for what? He just told me I was shit. And he said he wanted to thank you for kicking him out because he signed up for the voluntary self-exclusion program, which is basically a self-ban. If you recognize that you have a problem, you're allowed to ban yourself, and then you enter into some arrangement with the casino where they ban you if you ever try to come back. So you're basically saying, I have a problem. If I ever try to come back and tell you that I'm all good, don't listen to me, ban me. And the typical bans were for like 1 year. So he banned himself, and it was relayed to me that he had thanked me for that. The reason I tell this story is because when you look at the online gambling, there is nothing like this in place. And you can't even escape it through, like, this is a physical environment, the casino, right? You can do something like banning yourself, but how likely is it that you're going to ban yourself from social media where you're seeing all these videos promoting the online gambling? You can't even do that. Sure, you can click not interested on the gambling reels, but the point is it's so widespread that the temptation, I would imagine, is always there for somebody who's struggling with online gambling. So those two factors differentiate the online gambling epidemic from any sort of in-person gambling problem that might exist. Because first of all, like I said, you have to be an adult to enter a casino. Second of all, there is some level of supervision involved, or at least there should be, to address the behaviors of problem gamblers and ban them when they need to be banned, or push them toward self-exclusion, self-banning, so that they can, stop bleeding money and recover. This doesn't exist online. If somebody has a problem and they delete the app that they're using to gamble, and then they go on Instagram and they see more gambling ads, I mean, you can just bypass it on your own. So it's undoubtedly more dangerous, in my opinion. Alex FPV in the chat says, how about CSGO gambling for skins with loot boxes? Yeah, CoffeeZilla's video about that was insane. And I mean, the randomizers and the loot boxes in video games is just so insane to me. I really don't you miss the days when a video game was just you bought the disc and there was the game and there was tons of content on it? Now, studios will drop unfinished games. You don't even own the game. It's like a download key. So you're basically renting the game and you don't actually own it, or it's like a license for the game. The file storage is massive. The game is unfinished. There's a bunch of bugs at launch. They slowly drip feed you DLC content, maybe, or it's free to play, but it's pay to win. You know, it's free to play, but if you want the actual good shit and the good skins and the good whatever, it's going to cost you whatever. I was actually stunned. I'm still stunned that people in 2026, but I guess this has been going on really since like COVID, will pay for a skin in a game. To me, that is absurd and unheard of. Maybe I'm just showing my age here, but I remember when Batman Arkham Knight came out, and this was toward like the tail end. I would say this is like one of the last games where the season pass or the DLC actually got you what it was worth. There was like a whole new set of story missions with rendered cinematics and new skins and new content. It wasn't just cosmetics. The idea that somebody would pay $10 for a single cosmetic is fucking insane to me. I just got to be honest. That's insane to me. Let me see your guys' comments here. J. Cole says, just hit 3 parlays. I won't lie. Rainbet is the worst because it has a creator account, so people making those videos are just using play money. Very interesting. Yeah, facts. It's almost like how you remember how this is a throwback to the earlier 2021 Marco lore, but this is like when the Forex MLM scammers or just the Forex scammers in general during COVID would post like their charts and be like, we cashing out today. And it was a demo account. Like you could pause the video or the Instagram story and zoom in and you would see that it was a demo account. So they were essentially playing with fake money and then using that to entice you to pay them to teach you how to trade or to join their MLM that was going to pay you to recruit other people to learn how to trade. And, you know, it's just madness, just absolute madness. But I mean, this is what happens, you know, just like with MLM or just like with people who join MLMs or other kinds of cults, if the economy is down, if people are desperate, if people are struggling, these are the types of times when people are going to fall for that stuff and get involved in that stuff. You may, you know, I'm dating myself here, but in one of my old videos about an MLM called ACN, the main promoter of the MLM, Nathan, in that video, said something to the effect of, my business booms in the down economy. The worse things are, the better it does, essentially. And he was actually correct, not because MLM is such a foolproof business model, but because, in my opinion, when people are struggling and people are desperate and we're in times of economic uncertainty and, you know, it's World War III and whatever else, that's when people are vulnerable and more likely to join a cult, get into some sort of abusive relationship dynamic, join an MLM scheme, start trying to gamble. That's my opinion. That's my read of the situation. And right now, even more so than COVID, in my opinion, the rent is too damn high. The groceries are too damn expensive. The gas is too expensive. Disney Plus is too expensive. It's just like, I almost, you know, I don't even blame a young person who's like 17, 18, about to graduate high school and looking out into the landscape of what their options are. I don't even blame them for being like, you know what? It might just be the move to try to hit some parlays. This shit is so bleak. This shit is so bleak, you know? Yeah, Marco lore drop. Yeah, somebody in the chat said Marco lore. Sam here, como me some huz. So true. If you worked at a casino, you must be a numbers guy. So true. Thumbs up the ting. Yeah, it's mad. This is why social nets are indispensable. Online gambling also gives you unfettered access to what's in your bank account. True, yeah. Whereas in a casino, you might have a limit on your card and you might have to like call. But I'm sure that exists online as well. Call of Duty does it the worst. They pay slot designers to make the visuals and sound so you get hooked. Wow, I didn't know that. I don't know if that's true. It's according to a comment in my chat. Don't sue me, Activision, Treyarch, whichever fucking company. What if it's worth $100 later? Yes, very true. Okay, so let's go ahead and watch this video called The Gambling Epidemic. It's in Everything. And if you'll forgive me, I'm actually going to run to the washroom again real quick. Mans turns 30 and can't control his bladder because I need to pee before I lock in on this because I would rather do it now than interrupt the video. So I'll be as quick as possible. BRB. Okay, everybody relax. I'm here. Who wants to play Texas Hold'em after the stream, says Alex. So funny. People are still joining MLMs in 2026. Which ones are still popping? You'd be amazed. You'd be amazed. Okay, let's check this out. I want to check this one out first because I haven't seen it. The Gambling Epidemic. It's in Everything.
$300,000 in debt on credit cards. His wife just found out, and it's all sports betting, which is probably the fastest growing addictive problem that we're running into in the money world right now.
Online, there's a bit of a culture around like men need to get wealthy, they need to do it quickly, they're not going to work, they're not going to do it slowly through the labor market. And that actually isn't just about gambling, that's also things like crypto, it's things like day trading, etc., which is this sense of wanting to get wealthy fast.
I hate when people that don't sports bet be trying to be life coaches, bro. Like, shut up. They be like, oh, you got to invest into crypto. You got to invest in the stocks, bro. Ain't nobody worried about no Walmart and Bitcoin, bro. It took Bitcoin 9, 10, 20 years to get to 90K, bro. I'm trying to make 90K tonight.
Gambling has taken over our culture. Sports broadcast channels went from talking about the athletes and the game to now talking about money lines, proposition bets, and same game parlays. Logos on the court, on the jerseys, on the stadiums, in between the ad breaks, all together makes for a viewing experience where I can't go a single uninterrupted minute without a FanDuel logo shoved in my face.
So true. You can't even be a sports fan these days without getting solicited by these ads. What's worse? Sports arenas having the FanDuel logo printed or like shown somewhere, or the Herbalife logo being emblazoned across the LA Galaxy's jerseys and having Cristiano Ronaldo promote them.
Or Kevin Hart screaming about DraftKings.
Hey, the crown is yours. It's never ordinary at Bet365.
How much money does Kevin Hart need? Shame on you, Kevin Hart. Like, you could literally promote anything and make a bag for it. You could promote cooking utensils and make a bag for it. Why this? How much more money do you need?
FanDuel Casino.
But not only is it synonymous with sports, it's also become ingrained and normalized in almost every aspect of life. Thanks to Parley Market and Calgary, there was a $240 million betting market on whether President Zelensky wears a suit jacket. Thousands betting on how many seconds the national anthem is going to last. 600K betting on how many views the next Mr. Beast video will have. And let's not forget about the gambling adjacent industries. Video games with their long history of loot boxes and the recent rise in gacha gaming.
So, okay, let's just go one by one down the list of like hobbies or escapist stress relief activities that have been ruined or sullied by gambling. Sports and video games. Arguably the two biggest pastimes of all people, of all people in the world. Sports and video games. Let's just keep that in mind as we continue here.
Hide your screen with the console.
Oh yeah.
Oh my god, is this gonna be a god pack? I will shit on the floor. Oh! God pack! God pack!
Even toys like blind boxes and trading cards use gambling-like predatory tactics that could lead people to spend hundreds or thousands chasing one item.
Oh my, you got the secret? When it stops, it stops.
Online shopping even has you spin a wheel before you enter the website. Ordering takeout? Well, now you get a receipt that's promoting the Powerball lottery. Not to mention meme coins and their content creators trying to grift their audiences to buy as much as possible so that they can eventually rug pull. Yes, even your 100-year-old grandmother can now be a cryptocurrency grifter.
Oh yeah, YouTube. Add YouTube to the list because your favorite YouTuber, well, I guess not your favorite YouTuber because I'm obviously your favorite YouTuber and I haven't promoted gambling. So, okay, your second favorite and beyond YouTubers are all promoting one of these gambling or gambling adjacent things. So, YouTube, video games, and sports. If any of those three were part of your pastimes, welcome to gambling addiction.
Cupsy got drained. Boo-hoo.
Gambling went from an uncommon and infrequent pastime to something a young person may do every weekend. And for some, maybe every single day. We even get them when they're young thanks to gambling-like games on Roblox. And it's exactly this kind of normalization that might be pushing more and more content creators to take on gambling sponsorships or sports betting sponsorships because it's so normalized. Like Joe Rogan and 100 Thieves CEO, Nate Shaw. And yet, despite how common it's become, God forbid someone actually gets addicted, the internet has a field day. 400K on red and you're debt free. I'm sick of these crybabies. They just suck at gambling. Get a damn life. Online gambling is the best thing ever. I sports bet but never would go into debt doing that, lamau. And I get that some of these comments are satire, but it makes me wonder, how did gambling get so prevalent and is it only going to get worse?
This is another cope that I take real issue with. It's like the victim blaming aspect where it's like, yeah, you know the odds are bad in gambling, but you'd have to be stupid to spend more than you can afford to lose. It's like, so, okay. So just because not everyone has a good level of like discernment or like risk mitigation or whatever, even intelligence, call it what you want. Maybe they are stupid. That now somehow takes away from the fact that the thing that they're hooked on is predatory and bad in the first place. It's like I get comments all the time on my videos about MLMs where people are like, people are still falling for MLMs in 2026. They must be stupid. It's like, okay, let's give you the benefit of the doubt and say that they are stupid. Does that now make it better? I would argue that it makes it worse, that scammers are taking advantage of stupid people. At least if you took advantage of a smart person, it shows that there was some level of sophistication in your deception. But if you're taking advantage of stupid people, I mean, shame on you, you know?
Well, that's what I'm going to try to figure out in this video. Firstly, gambling isn't new. It's been around since forever. From the ancient Greeks who used knuckle bones as dice to medieval cockfighting to now betting on football games. I'm still wagering my money on a win or a loss. But the ease in how I place those bets, Well, that's a little different. Instead of only betting on the final outcome, proposition bets allows me to wager on any minor action, even as the game is being played live. How many free throws will Anthony Edwards score? Who's going to get the first basket? How fast will the first pitch be? And with prediction markets like Calgary or Parley market, it gets even more degenerate. Now you can gamble on anything related to pop culture. Whether Zoran Mamdani is going to be mayor, $429 million.
Also, think about how easy these types of like side bets are to manipulate. Like, let's pretend that you are a NBA player and there's a side bet or a prediction going on one of these apps, Polymarket, Kalshi, whatever, about how long you are going to hold the ball or how long if you're gonna travel. Something stupid. How many buckets you're gonna miss. Okay? Something that you could actually control easily by virtue of purposely not doing or doing something. Okay? How many times you're gonna flop on the court. You could you not just get like your friend who has the website to put a ton of money on that bet going a certain way, and then you act accordingly during the game, and then, split it with your friend after the fact? Or like, you know what I mean? It sort of ruins it, doesn't it? When there's an incentive to not do what you're supposed to do. It's almost like lobbying when it comes to the government. It's like Federal Trade Commission doesn't do what they're supposed to do when it comes to multi-level marketing schemes, for example, because their budget and their direction is decided by Congress, and Congress people are receiving campaign contributions from the MLM. So it's like this circle of corruption, essentially, in my opinion, allegedly. So, it applies to sports in that way as well, where it's like, you're just, rather than trying to win the basketball game, which is what you would think your goal is to be as a basketball player, now it's like, how can I finesse the bag?
American football coach Bill Belichick's engagement, $3.5 thousand. And it's thanks to these websites and sports betting apps that changed where we gamble. Instead of driving or flying to Las Vegas or Macau, the casino is in your pocket for the majority of the day. The sheer accessibility combined with profit boosts, bonus bets, and an app that's designed so you can deposit with a single tap is all there so that it makes us forget about the potential long-term consequences, like how gambling has the highest suicide rate amongst any other addiction. 1 in 5 problem gamblers will attempt, and they're more likely to commit a crime, which is more often than not so that they can further gamble. In the past few years, debt has also gone up, so more people are gambling with money they don't even own. The state of mind people...
Just take a second and think about how much money is currently being generated out of nothing, through no skill or like product or service actually being sold. When it comes to debt, which is bigger than ever, the banks make money off of interest. Interest is the cost of borrowing money, but there's no actual utility being created. I'm lending you $100 at a 10% interest rate, so you owe me back $110. That $10 came from nothing. It was a fee, essentially. So, and then it's like two layers of BS. Because there's that, you're paying interest on the debt, and then God forbid you're using some of that debt or all of that debt to then gamble, which is like another layer of you're just spending money in the hopes that you get money back, which is for the vast majority of people, the vast majority of times, not the case by virtue of gambling. So, the casinos also did nothing. They created a colorful app, and how do you know even what their algorithm is? How do you know what the percentage, like the chances to win are? It could be 0. Do you have access to the background source code, whatever, that tells the machine how often it should give out a win? In the case that it's an actual random thing and not like gambling where the player's actions can affect the outcome. You get what I'm saying? You don't know. So again, no utility is being created. No product or service is happening. If you run a online gambling or online casino, you're getting money basically for nothing, in my opinion.
People are in when they gamble now has totally changed. Before, you needed to walk into a casino, get cash from an ATM, and with all the bright lights and sound effects and red carpet, it can all be a bit overstimulating. Now, you're in the comfort of your own home, alone, and maybe you haven't really thought about gambling before, but you see a promotion offering you $250 to place your first bet. Which, for most young people, that's a lot of money. So you download the app, and before you know it, you're betting on WNBA games, or maybe you're playing a hand of blackjack with a live dealer, even though you've never done either of those things before. Now, after hearing that, you might think, wait, more fans, more money? Shouldn't the leagues love sports betting? And you'd be right. The leagues have embraced this sports betting coverage, so much so that they have analysts now on the broadcast just talking about the bets.
Analysts? You gotta be fucking kidding me. An analyst to talk about not making it up. Literally made it up. Yeah, so a lot of people bet on if LeBron is gonna score. Oh yeah? A lot of people are saying he's not. Well, let's see what happens. Brought to you by Calgary. What is stupid? Nuke the whole generation. Nuke the whole thing.
Even athletes are feeling the effects, for better or worse.
That moment with the fans to get that final rebound. Speaking of rebounds down the stretch, and you point at him.
Well, yeah, he definitely yelled at me, got my attention, said, "One more rebound." I was like, "What?" He was like, "One more." So I got one more, and I pointed at him to acknowledge that I was listening. So I appreciate it to that guy out there.
You know, athletes they may say, "Hey, we don't care about parlays, we don't," but they care about it because it affects them. They mentally it affects them, and they don't want to have to come to a game and be worrying about their own fans cheering them or booing them because they didn't make the parlay. They supposed to get 25 points, but they got 22, 23 points. And what it does is it changes the narrative of the game.
3 weeks ago, the FBI announced the arrest of 30 people, including some professional athletes and coaches, that was supposedly connected with rigging games and participating in an illegal gambling operation tied to the mob. Now,
anything but the Epstein files. Anything but Jeffrey Epstein, y'all. Also, since we just saw Carmelo Anthony in the video, fun moment of Oncolore. This was like a month ago. I was with a friend of mine who's in the same age bracket as me, and we went to go sell some shoes that he had. Bomba clot.
Hannah just dropped a bag, 30 Canadian dollars. Happy 30th birthday, Marco.
Thank you, Hannah. A woman after my own heart. Appreciate that a lot. Thank you so mucho. Muchas gracias. Appreciate you, Hannah. Hannah's one of them ones. She really is. I can't believe you've done this. Hold on, I'm looking at stuff. Scanning. Okay. Let me see. Sam here says, I bet that Trump would call Sony low IQ a few weeks ago. Call someone low IQ. Yeah, that's hilarious. There are agencies that watch for suspicious bets, says Alex FPV. Honestly, I don't have no faith in any agencies anymore. I'm going to be honest, I don't. I'm a complete nihilist when it comes to the credibility of any agencies that are supposed to be looking out for people. There's compromised behavior all the way up to the top. Creating America says, I don't gamble, and all around me there's such a huge gambling culture. So true. Why people don't realize when casinos offer these free money incentives, the odds have to be so in their favor for them to do that. Yeah, nobody's doing anything. No, none of these companies are doing shit out of the good of their heart, you know? Okay, so anyways, me and this friend, he had a bunch of shoes that he was trying to sell. Some of them were really nice, like limited edition. Like he had some OVOs, some Travis Scotts. He had like some really nice shoes. So we went to this fucking like streetwear store that does like trade-ins. Like they'll buy shoes off you, and they resell. And the guy who was running the shop was like some 20-year-old kid, which I can say kid now because I'm 30. So it is what it is. So my friend is like, yeah, I have a pair of Mellows as well. And the guy was like, LaMelo Ball? And my friend was like, no, Carmelo Anthony. And the kid was like, oh. And my friend was like, yeah, in my generation, Mello means Carmelo Anthony. And he was like, oh, okay. Because to his generation, Mello is LaMelo Ball. Anyways, great little sidetrack there. Let me continue this. Crime is legal, so true.
Now, this probably doesn't come as much of a surprise to basketball fans, from Jonte Porter last year to Terry Rozier in 2023 to even...
This comment, Tekma says 2-1 odds, Marco plays Masari by end of stream. Fucking hilarious. What if I just sing Masari? Where does that land us? Be easy, baby, let's pop a bottles and ride with me. Okay.
Even the Luka Doncic trade. It feels like gambling has deep roots in the game. And I know that me saying that plays into conspiracy theorists, but professional sports has a long history of illegal gambling and associations with the mob. Just look at the 1919 World Series where 8 White Sox players were bribed, which caused them to lose to the Cincinnati Reds. With the recent FBI investigations, it's just more fuel for fans to further question the basic integrity of the game. With the legalization and rise in sports betting, combine that with the lack of funding for people who unfortunately gets addicted, and the glorification of sports bettors, it all kind of reminds me of that one scene from Back to the Future 2, where Biff steals the sports almanac and becomes mega rich. You know what I'm talking about?
Learn how Biff parlayed that lucky winning streak into the vast empire called Biffco. Discover how in 1979 Biff successfully lobbied to legalize gambling and turned Hill Valley's dilapidated courthouse into a beautiful casino hotel.
I just want to say one thing. God bless America.
We're probably not in Biff's dystopian world quite yet. I mean, when was the last time you saw a toxic waste reclamation plant next to a large casino? But I am noticing a shift in attitudes towards sports betting and online gambling.
I hate when people that don't sports bet be trying to be life coaches, bro. Like, shut up. They be like, oh, you got to invest into crypto. You got to invest in the stocks, bro. Ain't nobody worried about no Walmart and Bitcoin, bro. It took Bitcoin 9, 10, 20 years to get to 90K, bro. I'm trying to make 90K tonight.
What's good, baby? What did I say? 5 over all night, full card please sweep, every single parlay cashes.
If you woke up broke today, you're an idiot. I tried to give you 10,000 yesterday. If you listen to me, you have 10 bands right now. I said, go to the bank, get a loan for 10,000. Put it on a parlay, you're gonna make 10,000. You pay off the debt, now you got 10 bands. The parlay hit.
Send the nuke. Send it. I'm ready.
I cannot be.
My face when the nuke hits. I'm just like this. I'm just at peace. I'm ready.
Stop! Missouri -3.5. Congratulations if you tell. I'm the college basketball king. If you not tapped in, hit that link in my bio and start winning. Let's go.
Mayu, let me tell you something. When I beat my lawsuits, God willing, or when they settle for $1 bajillion for my silence in my pocket, I might just have to say, you know what? Fuck it. I'm going to start a construction company. Because at this point, what can we think of? What industry can we think of that is not going to be either eliminated by AI or ruined by gambling or some other sort of stupid slop like this in the next 10 years? Construction? Restaurants, maybe? I don't know, dude. I feel like construction's the big one. Some sort of trade. How soon before robots are, Maybe I'll start a trucking company, even though the self-driving is probably going to take over that soon too. But I got to figure it out. Soon they're going to download all of my live streams and all of my videos and clone a funnier, more handsome, impossible, but a funnier, more handsome version of me and create a avatar AI creator live streamer who doesn't have to go to the bathroom 3 times a stream, who doesn't have to fight lawsuits and whatever. It is just running endless streaming content, endless reactions, endless opinions, endless funny bits. And maybe it's not going to be viable to be a creator anymore. Maybe the cult, maybe people aren't going to, maybe I've been AI this whole time and y'all have been supporting an AI creator. We don't know. So I gotta figure something out, y'all. I gotta start a construction company. I gotta become I don't know. I was thinking about it. Everyone always said I would be such a good lawyer. And by virtue of going through lawsuits for the past few years, I've learned a lot that I'm like, damn, I've low-key done enough independent study and had enough independent experience. I low-key think I could be a great lawyer. But I hate reading. Let me not get into the reasons. But I don't want to do that. Okay. Plus, so much helpful information is available through like ChatGPT when it comes to legal stuff that I can only imagine lawyers are going to be almost completely useless 10 years from now. I really do think that. So, yeah. Happiness Handmade says, and that's why I have a small crochet business. Real crochet cannot be made by machines yet. Yes. That's good. Very good. Thank you. Thank you for being here, Lisa. Yeah, my gosh. I can't believe you've done this. So I got to figure it out. But yeah, let's continue with this.
These content creators build their brand by selling the idea that sports betting is a legitimate income-making strategy.
What up, David Shapiro in the chat also, Wagwan. These gambling proliferation and all these influencers, streamers promoting crypto gambling is nauseating. They take huge bags to cause harm to others. So true. I mean, was sports not already, I talked about this recently, is sports in general not already the biggest like time waster activity? I think so. And now it's also a gambling platform. You love to see it. Creating America says, I was just talking to my coworker today about how bad lobbying has gotten in the modern day. I only paid for YouTube Premium because YouTube purposely sent me gambling ad after gambling ad. Even after I told YouTube I didn't want to see them, YouTube wants to show you the worst ads you hate. So true. Bob ZE, what are you talking about? I left my laptop on and left this on for the past 45 minutes. How the hell is this guy still talking? Who, me? You must be fucking new here. You think 45 minutes of me talking is a lot? Welcome. Wait till I'm back doing the 7-hour streams. Come on now. Oh no, who else will charge me $600 an hour to basically do nothing, Lamau? Exactly. Tell me about it. Ugh, PTSD. It's not even post-traumatic. It's CTSD. It's current traumatic stress disorder. I'm going through it right now. AI can't replace litigators. No jury will listen to AI argue. I mean, that's really the only element that's left, isn't it? The research and drafting can be done almost completely by AI. The argumentation just has to be done by a lawyer. But who knows? Maybe things will change. Maybe the lawyers will send in their AI-written briefs to the judge, and the judge will run it through some AI analysis to figure out how he's going to rule on it and how previous judges have ruled on it. And that's going to be that, This is a yapathon, buddy. So true. Say that to the dude who lost millions due to trusting AI over his lawyers. Yep, that was early. It's still early. Let's see what happens in 10 years, bro. 10 years ago, even 5 years ago, could you predict ChatGPT? Of course not. And think of the advancements that have happened since then. The Will Smith eating spaghetti video, the cursed one, was only, 4 years ago? Let's see what happens, dude. Our guy didn't score and we lost. Let's debate about what happened if he did for the next 3 hours. Yeah, so stupid. Anti-Shizzle says, I regret putting so much time into sports when I was younger. Missed out on so many good friendships. In all reality, only a very minuscule amount of people make it. Yeah. Sports is brain rot. I'm sorry. Oh no, the ball is moving in the other direction now. Like, come on, man. Do another interview with Ray. Oh, man. Yeah, I got to follow up with Ray. It's a pool. It's a pool.
It's not a game of chance. It's about following their picks so that you can live a wealthier and happier life like them. All of their posts, it's just one giant ad to make you buy their Telegram group chat or Discord server where they post all of their picks. But when every sports betting, day trading, crypto grifting influencer is telling you that they can make you rich, can you really trust any of them? This type of content was mostly a trend last year, so more people can probably recognize and call them out on their bullshit, but I'm kind of afraid for the near future, because as Americans face increased cost of living, budget cuts to federal food, and millions losing their Medicaid coverage, young people might turn to sports betting as a legitimate way to earn money, like these content creators says it is. In fact, every year, more young people are betting on sports and seeing it as, yes, a true investment strategy.
All right, I got a serious question for y'all. Who y'all be getting y'all picks from, man? Who y'all be getting y'all parlays from? Y'all ain't fooling me, bro. Y'all ain't cooking up like that, bro. Y'all not cooking up like that. Who y'all be following? What Discord y'all in to be getting them parlays, man? Drop them parlays, man. I need some money. I got a car payments to pay.
And despite what these content creators may say, 96% of sports bettors lose money after 5 years of doing it. And if you do win a lot, the sports books will limit your betting amounts because you're not profitable for them anymore. Now, don't get me wrong, people can make money from sports betting. If you hit a big parlay, I'm happy for you. But I think there's a clear difference for seeing it as a real income-making strategy to pay your bills versus what it actually is. When I bet on Victor Wembanyama to get a triple-double, do I now own part of his muscle fibers? Do I get dividends every year when he does get a triple-double? No, because sports betting is a high-risk negative-sum game of chance with no underlying value to what I just purchased. All of this, the celebrity endorsements, the non-stop advertising, the content creators, even the AI insights on the players directly in the sportsbook app. It's all there to make us believe that the only stupid decision is not placing a bet. Wait, so lots of advertising making a vice seem like the best decision ever? If that sounds familiar, it's because it's happened before in the 1950s to 70s with cigarettes.
What's it like to smoke an Alpine?
Hi, I'm Lee Marvin, just brushing up on my judo and enjoying my favorite smoke, Pall Mall.
In a nationwide survey, doctors in all branches of medicine were asked, "What cigarette do you smoke, doctor?" The brand named most was Camels. Tens of thousands of doctors, general practitioners, surgeons, specialists, doctors in every branch of medicine were included.
He's an independent guy. He likes to set his own kind of style, doesn't care what's in or new, chooses things to suit his taste, couldn't care what others do. He's an old gold filter.
My God. Well, there was another thing that I wanted to make a comment on here. Was it this? Oh, yeah. The thing about, on this point about people's winnings being limited because they're not profitable to the companies reminds me of how in the credit card industry, people who pay off their debt regularly and don't owe interest are called deadbeats, which is such a, if you think about how perverse and inverted that is, someone who, we think of a deadbeat as someone who doesn't manage their responsibilities. You know, think of a deadbeat dad, someone who's not taking care of his kids or paying child support. But in the credit world, but in the world of credit cards, it's the opposite. You're a deadbeat to them because you're not generating any money for them because you are responsible. So it's completely inverted. You know, the incentive is for you to be bad with your money, for you to not pay your minimum monthly payments for the debt or whatever. I can't believe you've done this.
It is
favorite, like a doctor promoting what cigarette brand is his favorite, like that's so dystopian.
People that are irresponsible and that are anti-gambling, they would like to lump it all into some dynamic that is similar to the tobacco.
Yeah, see, it's a
That's so
Let me watch this.
dystopian.
People that are irresponsible.
Gambling exec comparisons to substance addiction abhorrent. I think we need to do a Discord movie night and watch the movie Thank You for Smoking, which is about a guy who's a lobbyist for big tobacco companies. And it's amazing the amount of doublespeak and gaslighting that was used before the tobacco, what was it called? The Tobacco Master Settlement Agreement. You can Google this. Very interesting situation that limited things like advertising, required disclosures, etc. regarding tobacco and tobacco products, because the evidence just became so overwhelming that cigarettes were bad for you that something had to be done. And so it's just crazy how, like, with this is another example, right? This guy, Bill Miller, President, American Gaming Association. This is the double speak there. Gaming, right? Instead of gambling. And always trying to minimize or deflect or explain away the evidence that shows how harmful their industry is. The tobacco industry did this, does this. The movie Thank You for Smoking is about that. And in my opinion, the same thing is happening here. Doublespeak and clever language is being used to try to minimize the harm done by gambling.
Brand is his favorite. Like, that's so dystopian.
People that are irresponsible and that are anti-gambling, they would like to lump it all into some dynamic that is similar to the tobacco companies. I find that absolutely abhorrent and offensive. And
see, and then the victim blaming, right? People that are irresponsible, he says. People that are irresponsible. Well, if you gamble at all, isn't that irresponsible when you know that the odds are so bad? And you don't even know what the exact odds are, but you know it's not good. You know you're most likely to lose. But to put that on people and use it as, like, in a derogatory way, in this instance, at least that's how I took it, allegedly, in my opinion, isn't that what you want? Isn't that how you profit by people being, quote unquote, irresponsible? President of the Gaming Association, you know, it's just like an MLM. They call themselves MLM, which is doublespeak itself. I've explained this many times before. Doublespeak for what is just a thinly veiled pyramid scheme. And when you lose money, because you will lose money by virtue of the endless chain design, the odds are worse than gambling. They say, well, you didn't work hard enough.
industry that 9 out of 10 Americans believe is an appropriate entertainment form is being compared to something that kills people. That's not appropriate.
Well, but gambling addiction does lead to the most suicide attempts of any addiction, if you're talking about killing people.
Yeah, I mean, don't know that that's true.
Sportsbook executives like this guy don't want us to compare gambling with tobacco because they don't want the same thing to happen to them with the tobacco ads being now heavily regulated.
Yeah, I mean, don't know that that's true.
And speaking
Gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss to the max, you know? What are the examples that we saw just in that short clip with the president of the gaming whatever? First, the word gaming, doublespeak, in my opinion. Then the victim blaming of saying irresponsible people. That's another deflection, in my opinion. And then just to outright question or deflect or deny or whatever you want to call it, the stat about gambling addiction leading to the most suicide. Just say, I don't know if that's true. I can't believe you've done this.
Speaking of other addictions, does anyone else find it weird that I get a beer ad and then a few minutes later I'm reminded on the broadcast to place my bets? Like, do they want me to gamble while drunk? Gambling addiction is often compared to drugs and alcohol, but unlike those substances, gambling has a social economic factor that fuels the gambler even more. Not only is it a boys' club so young men are pressured to get in on the action, when someone wins a big parlay, they don't just feel good, they're instantly wealthier. And society equates wealth with intelligence and success. That feeling turns the thought of, oh, I should stop this to, no, let's keep playing. It feeds the ego because it's proof that you're better than the rest of your peers. But this isn't proven for every problem gambler. Like, there are other studies that have shown that some don't even do it for the money. They just do it to relieve stress and as a coping mechanism. But whatever the case, one thing I think remains consistent is that problem gamblers can never look at money the same way again.
Gambling for me, because I was a serious gambler, right? And I lost everything, right? And I remember like being like, no, I know what I'm doing, but I can't control it.
Yeah, I know
if I had a pound, instead of using that pound for something, I'd rather go and see if I can flip it.
Yeah.
Or if I won like £1,000, I wouldn't feel happy, even though this is £1,000.
It's like Harry says, any dollar that came his way, he was instantly thinking about how he could flip it. So you can imagine how difficult it is to actually quit now when every sports book and online casino is offering you hundreds, maybe even thousands of dollars to pull you back in.
If I went a day without depositing or playing, I would get a text or an email.
And what would the email say?
Where have you been? Here's a profit boost or bonus that you can use to get you back in the game.
Getting £10,000 free bet. They were giving me 10,000. Like, you'd ring up one day and they go, "Oh, you can have a £10,000 free bet." Yeah, and it weren't one or two. There's enough. 10,000. So you have a 10,000 free bet. Yeah, you're not going to really go back, are you, and have £500 double, are you?
Problem gamblers can also go days, weeks, months on losing streaks because in their minds, they can make it all back with just a few good wins. This psychological concept is called variable ratio schedule. You don't know when you'll win, only that you might.
Also, sunk cost fallacy, right? You've lost so much money gambling that you think, I need to gamble a little bit more because maybe the next bet will be the one that I win it all back.
And this is why some people wear adult diapers when playing slot machines. They physically refuse to move because they're afraid that another person might come and steal their seat and hit a jackpot while they're off to the washroom.
I've never seen the diapers thing, but I will say I did see some weird like idiosyncrasies when I worked at the casino when it came to the regular gamblers. Specifically, people would always have these weird like rituals when it came to like touching the machine. Like they had it all timed out in their head, which I'm guessing it stems from the sort of Pavlov's dog effect. Let me try this again. I'm guessing it stems from the sort of like Pavlov's dog effect of them winning once after doing a certain thing, taking a sip of water, and then 3 seconds later pressing the button, and then they won a bunch of money. So now they're trying to replicate those circumstances as though the gambling casino gods are like rewarding them, as though they're influencing it in some way. And so I would see people who would like, they would time it where they'd like press the button and then they'd like touch the screen here and then touch it here and then swipe here. And mind you, it wasn't a touch screen. They're just like putting their hands on it as though the energy from their fingertips is like affecting it in some way. And then sometimes it does, I shouldn't say it does work. And then sometimes when they're doing this, they do hit. So they're like, see? There was one guy, he was the founder of a big legal marijuana company. And I remember this is back when I think marijuana had just become legalized in Canada. And I asked him what he did for work, and he told me that he owns this company, which I had heard of before. Now it's massive. But he told me invest in like weed companies, like in this legal weed company. He gave me some financial advice, which in hindsight would have been very good, but I wasn't liquid. I was 20 years old. I didn't have the cash to invest in something like that. Plus, I didn't really trust investing in something that I didn't know about and sensed a bias because the guy who's telling me to invest in that is the guy who has a financial interest in that thing. But he was a big player, and what he would do is he would sit like in between two slot machines, and he would like spend a few minutes just loading up both machines with $100 bills so that he had like a balance on there. So he's putting in 100, well, I guess 200 at a time, 100 here, 100 here, 200, 200, 200, 200, so that he has like a stacked balance so that he can just sit there and press the max bet button for a few minutes uninterrupted. And some of these people are betting, like, for example, $100 a spin, because the more money you bet on a single spin, the more lines that you can bet on the slot machine, and thus the higher your chances are technically of winning. And so people would do this and, like, you know, sitting there on both machines, doing a $100 bet every time, and you're like sitting there like at this pace, tap, 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 betting $100, 200, 400, 600, 800. I mean, when you're spending that much money, you're going to hit. Like, I saw this guy hit payouts in excess of $10,000 multiple times. But it's like, of course you are. You're spending so much. But it's very dangerous, even in the environment of a casino, for people to witness that. And actually, this reminds me of another thing that happened that goes to the influence of seeing people win and what that stirs in people. There was a janitor that worked in the high limit room, and you would see him walking around cleaning up ashtrays, taking, you know, empty cups, etc. And I remember this moment vividly. It's burned into my brain and I will never forget it. This janitor was in the high limit room one time when I was also in the high limit room, and one of the big players hit, and they hit a big jackpot. It was like 10 or 15 grand, if my memory serves me right. And I could see in the eyes of this janitor, he was like, fuck, like, I could see him thinking, like, you know, that was a lot of money and that he would have, you know, liked to have that. And I can only imagine, you know, based on his job being a janitor, he probably was thinking in his head, I would have to work this many days in order to make that amount of money. And so I want to say a couple days later, I'm working again. It's the evening. I'm there in the high limit room. And who do I see enter the high limit room? The janitor, but he's off the clock and he's wearing a jacket over his like work shirt, but he had just gotten off his shift and was wearing his jacket so that he could come into the casino and play. And obviously he was not a high roller, but I guess he, through observing the high rollers playing in the high limit room, he figured that there was a strategy he could replicate where they were all spending, you know, the max bet. They were all betting the max bet to try to maximize their odds. Granted, they're sitting there with a balance of $5,000 in both machines, sitting there, max bet, max bet, max bet. If you don't have the money to begin with to be able to do something like that, to maximize your odds are bad. And so I saw him load a $100 bill into the machine, hit the max bet, and in a second it was gone. Sorry, you didn't hit. And that was it. And just like that, probably a day's worth of wages, if not more, was gone. And I saw him like have this look of like confusion or frustration on his face and then get up and leave. But anyways, it just goes to show the point that this gentleman, who was an older gentleman, saw this as a potential way to like shortcut his financial goals. So if a grown adult who's in a working within the casino environment, who sees people lose money, who knows that the odds aren't in your favor, if that person can still be swayed by the exceptional circumstance of seeing somebody win and thinking, you know what, maybe I can replicate that, and thinking it to the point that they actually go ahead and try it, imagine what it's doing to the brain of a 16-year-old. You know? Let's see. Monsoon Lagoon says, I love playing cards. I've done it for money a few times, and it just sucks for me. People are sore losers. True. Have you ever talked about Vima Verve? Yeah, of course. I mean, it's a classic pyramid scheme. I remember having someone come to our high school selling it to my friends. One of the guys who bought it is now a Forex guy who scams people. Yeah, yeah, that's classic. I mean, a lot of the guys from Vima went on to promote I Am Academy, which is now shut down by the FTC, or rather shut down following being sued by the FTC. And Alex Morton, who is the biggest promoter in Vima and also in I Am Academy, has now gone on to join some new company, which is a travel-based MLM. And I actually recorded their first company Zoom call recently. Actually, it was on my birthday that they did this Zoom call, and I recorded it so that I can make a new video about this company that Alex Morton is promoting, and hopefully catch him slipping on the terms of his FTC settlement when it comes to making deceptive claims. And I will be delighted to see Alex Morton slip up and violate the terms of his FTC settlement, which I think is going to happen based on his track record of making deceptive claims, in my opinion, and selling people false dreams in order to make himself rich through MLM schemes. I think it's just a matter of time before he slips up and says the wrong thing. And when he does, I will capture it. I will send it to the FTC. And yeah, I hope to see Alex Morton underneath a prison, because he is, in my opinion, one of the most prolific scammers of our entire generation.
And apparently, some people don't even have the courtesy to wear diapers. They just go on the seats. This principle is also commonly used in video games with loot boxes. People can spend real money on randomized crates hoping to get that one rare item potentially worth thousands, but it's all dictated by chance. CSGO skins is just one example of this, but there are many other games that adopted this kind of predatory FOMO tactic. So
yeah, D-Block in the chat says casinos suck, but I don't mind going in and limiting myself to dropping $100. I agree. Every time I've ever gone to a casino, which is only I could count on one hand the number of times I've gone like outside of working at a casino, and I do the exact same thing. I have a $100 budget. Once the $100 is gone, that's it. I chalk it up to, hey, that was my night of entertainment. If I ever go up, if I'm on a slot machine and I have a balance of $138, for example, I will cash out and I'll go, wow, I just made $38. I'm about to get a free meal or something. And I'll be happy. I'll feel like I hit a big finesse. Miami Famous, what up? Have you ever covered landmark education? No, I have not. I'm not familiar with that. Tell us more. I think there's some truth to the idea that every building is like a temple. Banks, casinos, big intimidating places, people gather, and we desire to gather with them, even if it is hive mind stupidity. Yeah, well, people want a sense of belonging, baby. That's what this cult is, isn't it? We're all here united by our disdain for scammers and deception and bad business practices. Inspiration, come on, man. Go. At this point, you've asked me to do it, the impression for your wife, so many times. You ask for it every time you're in the chat. Go watch one of them. Just go watch one of them at this point. There's so many clips out there. Just go watch a clip. Go put on the last stream I did where I was PBD for the entire thing and just fall asleep to that. But appreciate you. Does anyone remember You Should Be Here? Yes, Austin Godsey, who was a big promoter of I Am Academy as well, who is currently in jail. I was actually just looking up his jail record earlier. Here he is, Austin Godsey, Dade County. He also has a profile on Write a Prisoner, the pen pal service. Here, let's check this out. Here's the most recent picture of Austin Godsey that I could find. He was one of those You Should Be Here people. I can't remember the name of the company. It escapes me at the moment. It was called I don't think it was World Ventures. It was I forget what it was called, but it was one of these travel MLM things. He's looking rough. Austin Godsey, 34, so he's 35 now. Sexual battery / coerced, threatened, no bond. Sexual battery, coerced, threatened. This guy is in jail. And another guy who I actually debated on Instagram Live back in 2021, who was in I Am Academy, named Cash Cartier. Some of you might remember him. He wasn't in any of the YouTube videos, but he was a guy I debated on Instagram. He was also in Vima way back in the day. That guy is in jail as well for murdering his girlfriend. So yeah. What can I say? I'm always right. I tried to warn y'all about these people. They're fucking psychopaths. They confirm my belief and my suspicion that in order to rise to the highest levels of an MLM scheme, never mind multiple MLM schemes, you have to be a psychopath or a sociopath. You have to be able to witness harm being done to people because of your lies and not care or have some justification or deflection to write it off. You know, Cash Cartier W rapper name. Now he's caged incarcerate. His real name was like Caleb Mickens. I don't know why obviously it was just a screen name, but yeah. D-Block says same. I want a free meal. Time to pack it up. Loving the Alex Morton hate right now. OMG, he irks me so much. I've been patiently waiting for his downfall. His parents being on it too. Yeah, actually, if you follow me on Instagram, I actually just maybe a month ago finally got a response from Alex Morton on Instagram for the first time since, even since 2021. And it was less than I expected, to be honest. He was like, "Oh, you're a hater. You're still going on about this after years, blah, blah, blah. I'm up. If you ever see the FTC, get at me, at least I made the money to begin with." And it was just insane. So, and then he blocked me, of course, so yeah, fuck Alex Morton. All those uplines that would talk to my friends, the parents were their uplines. It's crazy shit. What up, the Gabster? Marco, is there anything you can't do? I don't know, go broke. Well, the lawsuits will see me go broke for sure. Streamlabs link in the chat. Have you ever bought a lottery ticket? No. There's a book about Landmark called Is This a Cult? Interesting.
So why do they do it? Well, it's a money printer. Just look at the mobile gacha games. Their games are built around this psychological hack, and the industry has ballooned to $600 million a month. Rare CSGO skins are so desirable that some people treat them as a real investment that they can hold on to and sell for later, like rare Pokemon cards. But unlike a physical Pokemon card, that shiny blue knife is just pixels. And to my knowledge, there's no way to have insurance on a CSGO knife.
Motherfuckers is really doing NFTs in 2026.
So you expose yourself to a lot of risk. Like what happened 2 weeks ago, where Valve made it possible to acquire these rare items without needing to hunt for them in loot boxes and get that 0.1% chance to get the item. And just like that, the value for these items dropped. It became a literal falling knife market, which leads me to my next topic of cryptocurrency meme coins, where this is the norm. Platforms like Pump.fun have made it possible for anyone to spin up a coin, go on live stream hyping it up, and then maybe pulling the rug after it reaches its all-time high. Not every meme coin is a scam, but it's hard to tell when every streamer is telling you that they're legit and that they're not gonna scam you. People have used their 100-year-old grandmother as a crypto mascot to pump their coin.
Pepsi got drained, boo-hoo. What am I saying?
He's already rich.
What?
A disabled developer even said he doesn't even know what a rug pull is on his live stream while he was pumping his coin, only for a few hours later to do exactly that. Despite how common these crypto scams have become, people still fall for it because their creators claim that, hey, it's just high risk investing. So why is meme coin so risky, and is it actually gambling? Well,
high risk investing in reference to gambling is like enhanced interrogation when it comes to torture. It's just clever doublespeak, that's all.
Well, let's see. Most meme coins don't hold any intrinsic value. Unlike established cryptocurrencies, most meme coins hold little to no real-world use cases. Their value is entirely dependent on speculative investing, and it's highly volatile as price movements can range from plus 500% to minus 95% within a couple of days. Add in the dopamine hits watching it skyrocket and then crash, and it slowly starts to look more like a digital casino disguised as community investing. So I'll let you decide. Is meme coins gambling, or is it high-risk investing? And if meme coins proves anything, it's that no matter what they will hear, they could see a million red flags, hear whatever warnings, it doesn't matter. They will still put their money up. Because at the end of the day, whether it's meme coins, sports betting, or online casinos, if there's a slim margin that someone may win a lot and get rich quick, people are going to fall for it and take the bait. Now, just FYI, when I say problem gamblers, just know I'm referring to a small percentage. Most sports bettors, gamblers, or video game loot box enjoyers just do it as a form of entertainment, which I don't really mind. But I bring up all of these promotions and sports advertising and content creators to show you how normal it's become. God forbid anyone gets addicted, the internet loves to say, well, gambling addicts don't have anyone else to blame except themselves. Now, don't get me wrong, I get that sentiment. It's true. Adults should own up to when they've made mistakes and when maybe their addiction went too far. But does that mean we should ignore everything else that led to their initial decision to gamble in the first place? What about youth who are getting addicted? Because research shows that the two most vulnerable groups to these promotions and celebrity endorsements, whatever, is recovering addicts and the young people who maybe don't know the long-term harm that this addiction can do to them. We've already seen how vape culture and wanting to fit in has led a generation into now struggling with nicotine addiction well into adulthood. So now, why are we suddenly okay with youth seeing so much sports betting and gambling advertising, and especially advertising from so-called role models?
Hey, Vanessa, so this one party at, huh?
I'm just in the slots for a minute.
Oh, I got me a little blackjack heat.
Oh, Jamie Foxx. I've talked about Jamie Foxx's less than ethical endorsements before, but let me digress.
I'm going myself. That's my guy Steve right there. Would be nice to get a king, Steve.
Come on, give Fox a king,
Come on,
Steve.
Steve, give me the king.
King time, Steve.
King, Steve.
Steve, we need a king, Steve.
Jamie Foxx, you are an Oscar award-winning actor. You were in Spider-Man No Way Home. You do not need this money.
Give me the king, Steve. Blackjack! Woo!
Because here's the thing they don't promote. 20% of calls to gambling hotlines where age was disclosed were from individuals under the age of 25, which is up from the 11.5% reported back in 2018. So why are they doing it? Well, maybe it's because we flooded their feeds with content creators like these and created a boys club culture where stuff like this is celebrated. And speaking of online gambling, we can't end this video without talking about my hometown rapper and Degrassi actor, Aubrey Drake Graham.
No. This is where we end the video, guys. Sorry about that. Sorry, I can't continue. We don't take any Drake slander on this channel, unfortunately. I'm running out of space. There's no tape left in the tape recorder. I just can't. So we're gonna have to end it there, unfortunately. Because I can't face the cognitive dissonance of loving Drake, but also knowing that he's like the biggest promoter of stake gambling platform of all time. All right, let's watch it.
Without talking about my hometown rapper and Degrassi actor, Aubrey Drake Graham.
What are you, deaf? Go!
Hi, Antonio. It's Jimmy. Yeah, the usual. Medium pepperoni. Thanks.
Like, come on.
This guy's hilarious. Who is this guy? Jordan Kang. I fuck with you, Jordan Kang. Let me see what other videos he's got. I fuck with you, Jordan Kang. Jordan Kang, you're a legend. You got some good videos on here. Oh, no, we got to react to this one. Nobody knows how to act in public anymore. Common sense is dead. And in the thumbnail, he has the picture on the right of this Israeli woman who's in Thailand, which when I was living in Thailand, I saw so much like geo-targeted content, so a lot of Thai content. And this shit was ablaze on Instagram in Thailand. This bitch, this Israeli bitch right here. She has this, she's like, accosting some poor waitress at some Thai restaurant. And she's like, my money, build your country. Just the fucking entitlement writes itself. The self-victimhood and the entitlement. I can't believe it. We got to watch that after. Jordan Kang, you got some fire videos, my king. Jordan King, am I right? All right, let's watch this Drake slander.
Drake, if you didn't know... Like, come on, Drake. If you didn't know, Drake's been partnered by Stake.com, a crypto-based online casino, since 2022. You've probably seen it on his Instagram. Maybe you even tuned in to some of his live streams he's done with popular streamers where he's just gambling on Stake.com.
Overdue.
Yes! There we go! After coming off a recent lawsuit for the Not Like Us album, Drake and Stake has been sued by a Missouri independent, Justin Kilham. The lawsuit claims that Stake.us is operating an illegal online casino thanks to its dual currency system. You can buy bundles of gold coins, but you also get Stake Cash as a bonus. The gold coins are worthless, but Stake Cash can be wagered and redeemed as real US dollars. And since Missouri bans online casinos, the suit claims that Stake.us is unlawful. Justin also claims that Drake and Aiden Ross misleads their audiences because they don't disclose that they're using house money for these gambling streams, so that could mislead people into gambling under false pretenses. Now, if you've been in this space at all, you probably generally know that these gambling streamers don't use their own money. Aiden Ross has even openly said that it isn't his own money when he's doing these sponsored live streams.
I'm making it very clear it's commercial. It's obviously paid. You could tell there's a banner up and everything, right? I'm not gambling away my money. I'm making it very, very clear.
But that was 4 years ago on an H3H3 podcast, so I don't know if he's still as transparent. Let me know in the comments. Regardless, gambling with house money, even when disclosed, is a little controversial. It can make gambling on these casino games look exciting and winnable when in reality, the average gambler's experience on these websites is that they're going to be using their own money and maybe they won't win as much.
Yeah, I can't remember which streamer that I saw doing this, but I saw a clip of a streamer who had run out of money on his account. And then he's like, oh, I got to call so-and-so. And presumably it was some person at the company. And they just called them up and were like, can you re-up my account, basically? Refill my account with house fake money, essentially. And I guess, I mean, it costs literally nothing to the online casinos to just refill the account with money, real or not, because it's a big promotion, or if it's a big enough streamer, it's a good promotion for them, right? So just mental.
Now, whether Stake.us is in fact operating an illegal online casino, I can't find other cases or judgments where that's been the final say from a judge. There have been other lawsuits in the past, similar to this one, all with similar claims against Stake.us. There's one from Illinois that was filed this April, and another in Alabama filed in May, both of which are still going through the court process. Another is in California that's in arbitration, and a fifth one in Minnesota that I think is still ongoing, but correct me if I'm wrong. But it's not all bad news, because California Governor Gavin Newsom just signed a new bill banning online social gaming with sweepstakes. So what's the solution? Is gambling just doomed to take over society? Well, I think it's true that gambling has changed for the worse. It's now easier to gamble than it is to vote. Gambling has taken over so many industries, and who knows how many more to come. And content creators like these continue to blur the line, so it's hard to tell what's even gambling anymore.
You know what certainly isn't gambling? AlwaysMarcoMerch.com. If you go there and you buy a merch item like perhaps this cool anti-pyramid scheme mug, or this cool anti-pyramid scheme phone case, or one of the other items on the store like the Write This Down notebook, or the cult member hoodie, or the anti-pyramid t-shirt, or the cult member t-shirt, rest assured you will receive that thing that you paid for. You will not be spending money to hopefully get something, but most likely actually end up getting nothing. Great way to support me and rep the cult as well. You love to see it. And if that's not your flavor, if that's not your speed, and you just want to say, you know what, Marco, I like spending money and not getting anything back except the excitement of knowing that there was a chance something good could come of it. Why don't I sweeten that deal a little bit more and tell you how you can spend some money to not get anything back, but know with certainty that the money you're spending is going towards something good, like me defeating one of my pyramid scheme lawsuits, mayhaps? PayPal. Always MarcoMGMT@gmail.com. Holla at your boy. You love to see it.
Now, I've noticed other YouTubers make videos about this topic before, and some of them have a nihilistic viewpoint that gambling is doomed to take over everything and that it's only going to get worse, but I'm more optimistic. People have the power to create change. In Canada, after sports betting was legalized, so many Canadian legends and athletes came on to gambling commercials and advertisements and promotions. Wayne Gretzky, Connor McDavid, Austin Matthews all appeared in sports betting ads. And one guy, Bruce Kidd, saw this and was like, I don't want my kids or other kids to be influenced by these Canadian legends to sports bet and gamble, so he led a campaign rallying for change. And a few months later, Ontario passed a provincial-wide ban for Canadian athletes and celebrities to appear on these commercials.
Observational learning is the most powerful. So kids watch and they mimic. And when they're seeing a world in which gambling is so intertwined with sports, that it's not only seen as a natural part of it, it's often even marketed as the extension, that if you're a real fan, you'll take this next step.
Now, I bring up Canada because I'm Canadian, but I also recognize that Canada's Canada's political climate is very different. But I also think it's unfair to say that all of America and the whole world and other countries are just doomed for gambling forever and it's only going to get worse. I mean, it's probably unrealistic for me to say let's just ban all sports betting and ban all gambling like we did before, because it's become part of the culture, right? So maybe we need to shift goals. Times are changing. There's a need to navigate a society where gambling has become normalized, because it is. And I think that starts with education, but specifically youth education. I will always remember police officers coming to my elementary school and showing us all the dangers of different kinds of drugs, showing us pictures. Like, it was pretty creepy. But that deterred me whenever I had encounters later in life, right? But do we have that same education for the dangers of gambling, and specifically how susceptible young men are to gambling? And what about providing assistance to the recovering addicts? Like, is there creative ways to maybe help them? Maybe a self-exclusion app that blocks all gambling websites. Is that even effective? I don't know. I'm just sharing my thoughts. But I want to know what you think. Do you think we've normalized gambling too much as a society? Is there solutions to now navigating a society where it is normalized? Should we ban gambling and sports betting again? Let me know in the comments. If you made it here, give this video a like and maybe subscribe. I do commentary videos like this one every single week. We have a pretty good time. It's a fun time. Please, but I'm okay now.
I completely agree that putting a bet on a game can make it more entertaining to watch, but I think a lot of young men today do not realize just how dangerous gambling and sports betting is. I know you're probably thinking, oh, come on, I just put a couple dollars here and there. And actually, I know a lot about the sport, so it's not really gambling. There are a lot of studies that show that gambling is as addictive as some hard drugs. It literally hijacks your brain. I'm not trying to be a buzzkill here, but you should treat it with the reverence that it deserves.
Jordan Kang, you are a legend, my friend. Shout out to you for that video. Streamlabs link in the chat. PayPal in the description. Hit a parlay on whether or not I'm gonna get 200,000 subscribers by the end of the year. That's what we're. Drop your donation in the PayPal and attach a message with your over/under on whether I'm gonna hit 200K subscribers by the end of this year. That's what I want you to do. Not gambling, not investment advice. Oh, God. I can't believe you've done this. And I have to pee again. Woo! Maybe I'm pessimistic, but whenever it comes to gambling, I think to myself, why would I win? Bars. Well, not with that attitude. You never will with that attitude. I really want to watch this video he did. It's his most viewed video 6 months ago. Nobody knows how to act in public anymore, and it's shocking. Okay, we're going to watch this. I'm going to go pee-pee. One of you heroes is going to put this Streamlabs donation goal on your back so that I can afford another single hour of my lawyer's time. And, you know, and then when I come back, I'm going to be like, whoa, what? Okay, I'll be right back. Hold on. Stupid. Okay, where's the thing?